we good?
Yeah, introduce us.
I'm trying to help Natalia over here share the video, and I thought when she said that you were restarting the music. Welcome to Negro Please. I'm Dallas Scott.
I'm Natalia Hernandez.
Hollywood Huff, Quan, the producer over here. Congratulations, Lakers fans. Lakers won it in convincing fashion last night.
Mm-hmm.
No need to worry about who was going to take the last shot.
Right.
I've always been. So I grew up a Lakers fan because they were the Minneapolis Lakers, and then they moved to L.A. long before I was ever there. I'm actually of the ilk that thinks that Magic is the greatest player of all time and not Jordan or LeBron. I just feel like if Magic had 3 or 4 more healthy years, then he would be the greatest player of all time.
Should have been sleeping with all those women. What if had some more healthy years?
He was the greatest player of all time.
He's player.
That title's gonna stay. That title's gonna stay with Wilt Chamberlain,
right?
No matter what. Like I feel like that picture. You've seen that picture when he scored 100 points in the game. And he's got that like 100. I feel like he's like that's the next 30 days. These are women for the next 30 days.
Wow.
My goal for the next 30 days is 100 women. Like,
yes.
What did he claim? Like 10,000 or something? Like astronomical number? Like
it had to be more than 100 a month for him to keep up with whatever ridiculous number he supposedly had been with. Yeah, like it's
just got to be like hits and quits, right? Because like you can't manage that many. I like these guys who are in Utah who marry like 4 and 5 wives and stuff. Like I'm like, how do you manage that?
Well, here's the thing. Back in the day with Wilt Chamberlain, there was no Instagram. There was no Facebook.
Right.
So nobody knew where he was or what he was doing or who he was with. Yeah, everything was on the low.
But still, that's a lot. It's got to be like 3 and foursomes, though. There's only 365 days a year. It's not like he started when he was 10.
Right.
I mean, he was an adult, an NBA player. I mean, so we're talking about only a span of what, like 10, 12, 15 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't, the number can't be true. Like,
Right.
I'm
not saying
I agree with that it's probably not true, but it just sounds really good.
Sounds crazy, man. Like, I don't even know. Like, at some point, aren't you just like, you know what? How do you?
You ain't tired?
Come
on.
How do you get enthusiastic after like 5,000? Like, I don't know. Like, how do you?
Right.
There's got to be a number somewhere where you're like, you know what?
I've already went 5 times today, lady. Like, come on.
There's the irony. Like, there's the guy who I watched a video the other day about. I was watching The Boys, and they were doing a flashback scene to when the guy was gonna like propose to his wife, and he was like, "Don't be giving me that. I'm gonna have the same pussy for the rest of my life," kind of thing. I'm like, Wilt like probably wanted some of the same, like right, like
right.
like, you're like, oh god, this wasn't even worth it. We're like, let me go find somebody just like consistent goodness, right? Like.
Maybe that's what he was looking for.
But back to the Lakers and their championship. Somehow we got real off track there.
They are not gonna. They're gonna have a parade, but it's being postponed.
Right.
I feel like postponing a parade though is like.
It's kind of silly.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
People still gonna go outside and do what they do. Like I'm from South Florida. When the Heat had their three-peat, everybody went outside with pots and pans, and I can't imagine that would not happen in L.A. Everybody, maybe not the pots and pans part, but everybody in L.A.
Did
in the street.
Pots and pans.
Yeah, that's like a Miami thing. They all come out with their calderos, and it's a whole Miami thing. Yeah, forget it. But in L.A., I'm sure the fans would want to, hit the street.
What are they with their like low riders and horns? Like I don't even like.
No, it's Florida. There's no like. It's not. It's a different
pots and pans.
It's
like,
pots and pans. That's what they do for the Heat.
I feel like y'all need some cowbells in Florida or something.
Yeah, that's the Cuban cowbell.
That's the Cuban cowbell. Pots and pans.
I just feel like by the time, like, and I understand that the Lakers fans are going to be hyped, but part of the fun of the parade right away is like you're still in that energy.
Yeah.
But it's like. It's going to a funeral 9 months after somebody died.
Right.
Like,
we kind of over it. Why are you bringing it back up?
Right. We got to get excited for this again. Like,
right.
Man, I'm going to talk about this because it's really it's going to annoy the hell out of me until I get it off my chest.
What is it?
Paris Hilton.
Uh-huh.
So Paris Hilton has this little documentary. It's called Being Paris or Paris.
I watched it.
Did you watch the whole documentary?
I did.
I didn't.
Okay.
So. Kat Von D came. So Paris Hilton is upset about this school. It's called the Provo. It's called the Provo School, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's in Utah. It's called Provo Canyon School in Utah. Okay, and Paris Hilton was sent there, and apparently so was Kat Von D when she was younger. And they're complaining. This is like one of my favorite quotes of all time because this is the "you didn't grow up in a minority family and it shows" quote.
Well, Kat Von D's Mexican. She's a Latina.
Well,
but go ahead.
She been passing a lot, so but that's another conversation.
She's always represented her Latin heritage.
So Paris Hilton, the name of the documentary is This Is Paris. And she's talks about going to this school, the Provo Canyon School, and the abuse. And this is the quote that just really drives me crazy about this. She said she was hit and yelled at, and that's not the part of the quote. It's I was forced into solitary confinement for hours at a time for not taking medication. That's punishment. Like, that's not even like you were sent to your room for not doing what you were supposed to do.
But I have a friend that went to one of these schools, not the one in Utah, but there was a place in Florida that she went to when we were in high school, and she was locked in a basement for 11 months. Literally locked in a basement by herself. But that school in the 90s was those kinds of programs. That's what they would do to kids back then, to troubled youth especially. And having a friend that went through that, I know it sounds like they're being dramatic, but like knowing what my friend went through personally back then, it was awful.
Okay, but go ahead.
I think, look, putting a kid in timeout and make him stand in the corner for an hour is one thing.
Yeah.
Locking a kid in the basement for 11 months is two totally different things.
Well, that's what those kind of programs do, though.
But I'm saying, if she's saying she was put in timeout for hours at a time, like, was this hour, was she chained in a box? Or was she just, look, go to your room until you take your medicine?
I spent
or come out at dinner time. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
My parents confined me to solitary confinement
So did
for
mine.
probably a third of my childhood.
With the damn belt, right? With the chancleta
You know what
while
I'm
they're at it.
But the other thing is, like, I feel like the name of this thing is misleading because it's called the Provo Canyon School, but it's a treatment center. Like, it's not like going to elementary school or junior high 4 blocks away from your house in your neighborhood. She was sent there because she had treatment issues and behavioral issues, and her parents were at their wits' end and were like, "We need you to go here because we can't help you out. You're not. You did something wrong to get there." This is like going to me. It's like going to jail, right? Like
but should you go to jail for going out with your friends to the club? Because that's what she did.
But the problem was not that she was going out to she was doing drugs. She had a huge drug problem when she was younger. And that's why her parents sent her there to begin with, they were trying to get her cleaned up and organized and back on the straight and narrow, so to speak.
Yeah.
This isn't like...
Because on the movie, she didn't talk about drug use. She just said she was going out to the club. Of course not.
She made the movie.
They forced her.
And so here's... The name of it is Provo Canyon School.
Right.
But the title is Psychiatric Youth Residential Treatment Center.
Yes.
Which ain't a school.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing is misleading. Like, like if you...
But like...
She went there when she was 17. She shouldn't have been going to the clubs and partying and doing all those things anyway. So partly she's got bad parenting because they couldn't keep her in there. But they got to the point where they were at their wits' end and they sent her someplace to get help.
Should she be institutionalized because her parents can't control her, though?
Should she be institutionalized because she's doing drugs and stuff at a young age? If I make a movie about my life, there are things I'm probably going to leave out because they may or may not make me look a little shady. I'm just saying.
It's interesting you brought this up because you look at Paris Hilton and you see her as a privileged person who grew up wealthy, so you don't, like, most people don't have compassion or empathy to say, wow, maybe she did go through it and maybe it really sucked. I have a friend that for 11 months was locked up in a basement in one of these psychiatric treatment centers in Florida. And when they send the kids there, those places are locked down. Like, there are locks on the door. They're locks. You can't leave. It's not like you can just
It's
say,
like a juvenile detention
It is.
center.
It's like a juvenile jail. But like
yeah.
kids that aren't committing crimes, that are just being kids and doing dumb stuff, probably need, in my opinion, more compassionate care rather than locking them up.
What was your friend sent there for? Were they sent there because their parents sent them, or were they
Her
sentenced there?
parents sent her there because she was like smoking weed and skipping school.
Okay. So she was doing something that was wrong to begin with, though.
Yeah, but like not to be locked up in a basement for 11 months. You know what I'm saying? Because all she did was meet other people that did drugs and come out a drug addict. So like it didn't help her at all. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole different story.
That's the problem.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what happens.
The fact is, as a parent, though, I'm like, you either go to school and stop smoking weed, or I'm sending you to this facility.
Why is the facility the other choice? Why is there no
that's for
therapy?
But that's what that facility is. It's supposed to be therapy. And again, Paris is telling this from her side of the story. We don't know what else her parents did to her, right? And I feel like when you get to the point when your parents are sending you away, like she's from California, they sent her to Utah. Like they apparently thought there was something bad enough going on where not only could they not get help in California with all the rich places that you could send people to in California, they sent her to Utah.
Right.
Like, you need to be out of this environment. We need to get you away from here. We sent you to Utah because you won't get your act together. Now you go to Utah and you're upset with the way they're treating you. But if you would have just done right to begin with as a child, then you wouldn't be in this situation.
But
Okay, so time out really quick. Because I just went to their website.
What you got?
Uh-oh.
All right. Now, because this is a thing, right? You're a parent, right? You, for whatever reason, have lost control of your kid.
Right.
And you think, okay, let me send them to this place where, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a boarding school or boot camp or whatever it is to whip my kid into shape because I don't know what to do anymore.
Right.
They're trying, right?
Yeah.
You go to it, the first thing it says, Compassionate Behavioral Health Center, right? So you think, I mean, it sounds legit.
Well, maybe they are now.
Well, here's the message that they have on there now because of all of this stuff, right? We are aware of media referencing Provo Canyon School. Please note that PCS was sold by its previous ownership in August 2000.
Yep.
We therefore cannot comment on the operations or patient experience prior to that time. We are committed to providing high quality care to youth with special and often complex emotional, behavioral, and psychiatric needs. So this place is obviously for kids who they feel like have some problems that go beyond normal parenting, right? That's what the school is supposed to do. I can't fault anyone for saying, I don't know what to do, but this is my kid. Maybe this place can help them out, right?
Right.
But in essence, it comes just like any other psych ward, any other prison, most rehab places. People go and they just learn better ways to do drugs, better ways to get away with their crimes, better ways to do things that are wrong. They don't really get the rehab or the behavioral health they actually need.
Correct.
But the other part of this is that for the last 20 years, this has been owned by a different company.
Right.
So she hasn't been in the school in 20 years.
Right.
So she doesn't even know if this stuff is still going on in the school.
Yeah, I mean, it is a weird call for attention all this time later. But I was reading, because I did see the documentary, there was a history of like those tough love programs in the 90s, especially for teen girls, that they would like lock you up and all these residential. So like that was what parents thought was the best choice at that time.
Right.
Now I think we've evolved as a society and, you know, provide alternative type of treatments for teens.
I 100% believe that my parents love me so much. Like, they do anything for me. Even now, they make sacrifices for me, my kids. Like, there was never a point in my life where I thought, man, my parents do not love me. However, if I was to give you a rundown of some of the beatings I got for my behavior, you would call Child Protective Services because the world we live in now is not the same as it was 30, 40 years ago, right?
Yep.
So the things that this happened 20 some odd years ago, this was acceptable. Like, this was how things went down. Like, look, you could even ask me like, hey, you want to be locked in your room for 6 hours or you want a whooping? I don't know. 6 of one.
Who's getting the whooping? And do I have to pick the switch? Is it mama getting the whooping, daddy getting the whooping? Do I get to pick the item to which I am being whooped by? Like,
I never had that privilege. It was whatever they could find.
Right? You know? So you give that, you talk about that to kids now, and it's like, man, y'all got beat to death. That's child abuse.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's
that
just
was parenting.
Oh, now
you know
kids call the cops on their parents when they get
I love to tell the story. My brother Charles, I was probably in 8th grade, so he was in 7th grade. I don't even remember what he did to get my dad called to the school. But Charles decided, God knows why, that when my dad got to the school, that he was going to try and show out in front of his friends. And Charles got whooped in class.
Right.
Like, in the classroom, in front of everybody. And the teacher didn't say a word. The principal didn't say a word.
Right.
And all people did was, Charles, you know your dad don't play. What the hell were you thinking? You know that's your dad. And we all know your dad don't play. So what the hell were you thinking when he walked into the classroom that day? Other than you was about to get whooped.
and that was life.
Right.
And nobody better than that. Nobody thought about it.
Right.
Like,
Nobody called
Are you kidding? My family used to take turns with us beating us
Oh,
up. Like I would be
that
bad
was
in
the
school.
worst.
My godfather would whoop me. Then I'd get to his mom's house, and his mom would whoop me, and then my parents would pick me up and whoop me. It was like awful.
I remember there was this weekend.
It was Tuesday.
Just another Wednesday.
And we couldn't get away with anything because everybody on base knew my dad. So like I could be on one end of the base doing something stupid, and by the time I get home, he'd be like, "So, I heard you was over there at the PX, which is the base grocery store. Yeah, I heard you was over there cussing and talking loud. People, I was like, how you? Don't worry, I got 6 phone calls right here. Caller ID that says they saw you over there. No,
man, didn't even have a cell phone.
Didn't even have a cell phone.
Didn't even have a cell phone.
No, but that's just
man.
No, the most terrifying
Man, look.
weekend of my life, and this was probably I was in kindergartenish, so 40 years ago. My brother and I were throwing rocks like across the street, like as cars would go by, we'd like throw rocks over people's cars. Well, we hit a car and it broke the windshield.
Wow.
And the guy came and went crazy and yelled at my dad, and we got that go to your room and wait.
I know that one.
They made us sit there for 2 days.
Wow.
Waiting for the beating?
Yes. 2 days.
Wow.
That's probably worse than the whooping.
Never happened, but it was the scariest weekend of my life. Like I literally thought I was going to die that weekend.
Right, like any moment now was going down.
Every time like somebody came to the door, like my mom or my stepdad, I was scared to death that it was going to end right then and there for me.
Yeah.
Like no, we were just stuck there. And
I had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Just like, they tell you like, you're getting it when we get home, and all day you just like, every time somebody come to the door, you're like, man,
Right.
that ain't him.
I can't even
All right.
threaten to hit my kids anymore. If
No.
I threaten to spank them, my 9-year-old will be like, "Excuse me, Mom, that's child abuse," and I'll be like, "All right, I never hit you, baby. I'm sorry."
I go upside her head right then and there, like, call him if you want to.
No, she'll call the police, and she got a phone.
she got videos. This is a video of my mama whooping me.
Right. See, officer, here's the evidence. Like, no, sir.
My mom whooped me. Man. Let's just so we can get it over with.
What's that?
He's got the glow.
Who's got the glow?
He's got the glow.
Bruce Leroy?
See, when people tell me they have the glow, the first 2 things that come to my head are Bruce Leroy and Soul Glow. And Donald Trump don't have neither one of those.
He don't even know what the last draft.
But it's a blessing from God he got COVID.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
While there's a White House official who's reportedly gravely ill over this. Like, it's a blessing from God.
How?
And it's lasted 3 days, and apparently he's had 2 negative tests back-to-back days. Like, how is it that he's
This dude
like the
went
Magic
from,
Johnson of COVID? he's like,
You get COVID. You get the Rona. You get the Rona.
Wow. This fool went from healthy to like, we don't know if he can breathe or not.
Right.
To, it's a blessing that I got COVID. Now medication's free for everybody. Really? I don't know.
He's got a glow, but it's from the orange paint they paint him with.
Yeah,
though, right?
it definitely ain't from. What is he trying? Like, what is this glow? Is he saying he got touched by God? Is that what? Like, what is the?
Look,
what is the glow
He
reference?
keeps changing the story every hour and a half. So like,
Is he about to fight Show Nuff?
Well,
see,
Is he Show Nuff? Is that what he's saying?
he's looking
Come
for
on,
Bruce Leroy right now. Like he just.
It's Joe Biden.
He tweeted this morning like a madman that California is going straight to
Yeah,
hell.
hell,
Like he's starting to tweet like somebody grandpa.
Yeah.
Like somebody take the phone away because he's not well. Like the stuff that he's tweeting is not.
And then he has
never mind presidential. It's just not okay.
Right, and then he has the nerve to say that Joe isn't doing well. I love the fact that his campaign.
Joe ain't got the Rona.
They keep throwing out this stuff about how Joe Biden has to read off a teleprompter. Like,
big deal.
Everybody reads off a teleprompter.
Right.
Every president since teleprompters
Right.
have been invented has read off a teleprompter.
Yeah.
Except for the guy who's currently in office and can't read.
Right.
So
He just thinks he's too good for. He got something better to say.
Right.
That's what it is.
He's like the freestyle.
the freestyle.
Every time you have a press conference, there's a freestyle.
He look at them notes and he just be like, "Nah, I got. You know what? I got something better."
Yeah, it's like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Hey, professional.
Please vote, people.
But they're going to vote. and they're gonna vote him back in the office.
Here's the problem.
because they believe the bullshit.
Here's the problem. Nobody is as passionate as for Joe Biden as they are for Trump.
Right.
And that is a big problem because people will line up for Trump. They love Trump and whatever. Love who you love. But like people don't love Biden with that same like badge of honor, like for Obama. Like remember how hard everybody went for Obama, blue, red, Republican, Democrat, like everybody was for Obama and we all stand Obama and stood in line and voted. People don't stand Biden the same way. And that I think is a little problematic.
Well, that's the thing is that Trump supporters are loyal. We just saw a guy over here on Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard out there with a sign that says fake news, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. He's got a shirt that's made that says fake news, and on the back it says Trump 45, and he's standing out there on Sahara and Las Vegas Boulevard dancing with his sign, and he actually had a little rhythm too. Like I couldn't hear what he was, but I'm watching this and thinking this is why he's going to be reelected. Yeah, is because his supporters are hugely loyal, and this guy was stereotypical every Donald Trump person I've seen on TV. He had like 2 teeth missing. Like,
I mean, I don't understand the fandom of it. Outside of, the racist stuff and
well, that's the fandom. That's what they like.
But I know people who I'm pretty sure are not racist, right? Who are decent people. And up until this presidency, they kind of kept to themselves like who they were voting for. Mm-hmm. But now they're like, Trump's my guy, and Trump this and Trump that. Like, what is it about this dude that make people just, I can't keep it to myself. I gotta let the world know I'm a Trump fan. I'm voting for Trump. This is like, I've never seen anybody be like, man, George Bush is my guy. I'm voting for George Bush. If you don't like Bush, you're stupid. Like I've never seen it before. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't have Joe made Ronald Reagan shirts or Jimmy Carter shirts.
You know what I mean?
This guy's got a homemade shirt.
I feel like we saw a little bit of it with Obama because black people were like, oh, it's a black dude, which makes sense, right? And I can partially understand it because I'm black. But every president before Obama was a white dude. So we got another white dude. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around, like, it ain't just because this is the first white president, y'all excited. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that makes people just go nuts?
Because he says the stuff that they can't. And the problem with the people, in my opinion, on the decent people that like Trump, if they're decent people, how can they support racism? If they're decent people, how can they support all of that stuff that he supports? And that's where, like, I personally in my family have issues with family members over Trump. Yeah. And I'm like, how can you feel this way? Like, we're Puerto Rican. Like, you can't, how can you support somebody that's racist, that's throwing paper towels at my people? Like, it just, and literally.
The governor of Puerto Rico, who,
please don't even who went, I know.
Who went hard on him for not supporting them after the hurricane, and she has been nothing but anti-Trump since the hurricane.
No, that was the mayor.
Oh, the mayor.
The governor endorsed Trump, not the mayor. The mayor was the one that used to go like ham on him on TV, but the governor did endorse Trump. But here's the gag: Puerto Ricans can't vote for the president, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. On the island, you cannot vote for the president. What they're trying to do in Puerto Rico is get the Puerto Ricans that left the island after Maria to vote for Trump. Because if you leave the island, you can vote for president, right? So, like, you have tens of thousands of Puerto Ricans that left and they're in, like, Florida or Texas or whatever states. So they're trying to appeal to those first-time voters to vote for Trump. And that's why they're doing it. But it's a bunch of, like, BS, in my opinion.
I just want to note, you said Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. 3 times, and every time you said it a different way.
I know.
That was amazing. I was like, because the first time had like this real thick accent, and I was like, okay, she said it like Puerto Rican, and then she said it again. I was like, hold up. Yeah. Then she said it a third time. I was like, she said it 3 different ways.
I'm about to start speaking Spanish in a minute.
But look, like, and so here's the thing. I don't think everybody who votes for Trump is racist. Right. I know some people who are just like, look, I'm voting Republican. Republicans about that money. Right. I'm about my money. Like, that's what it is. You know, I get it. 100%, And I don't care about that. Like, that's fine with me. You know what I mean? Like, even if you are racist and you want to vote for the dude who you think will support your racist values, whatever, man. I don't care. I just don't understand the fandom of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Like he's not all that.
like what is he? What did he do to make you go, I love this guy? Like, you know what I'm saying?
You know,
like,
my family member said he gave me a $1,200 stimulus check.
Oh
Obama
my
didn't do that for me. I'm like,
gosh.
he got you out here
Oh
with no job. You not working because we on lockdown because of COVID. Like,
how much would you have made
$1,200.
if you actually got to go to work?
Exactly.
$1,200.
They'll rationalize anything. Yeah, probably. They'll rationalize anything just to support
gosh.
Trump.
And
It's
he
crazy.
didn't. They act like he pulled out his wallet and started writing $1,200 checks out of his account. That's
Yeah, nah.
But
not
the
where
thing
it
is-
comes from.
Well, he did sign the check.
Right.
Oh my
and then he sent you a letter
Right, so
to
you-
tell you that he signed the
Yes.
check so you could have it.
I
Even
kept
though,
it.
I
Are we
burned
that
it.
stupid as a country?
Yes,
mean-
absolutely, 100%. Yes,
Yes.
we are that stupid.
Oh God.
We talked about this before. It's about people don't
Jesus, help
understand
me.
what
Right.
power the president does and does not have.
He don't. He don't even know.
No, right.
He don't even know.
He don't
that
even know
he-
what he's doing.
The Supreme Court doesn't like me. No, they just their job isn't to like you; it's to uphold the Constitution. And when you
Right.
do something, whether it's a conservative Supreme Court or a liberal Supreme Court, their job is to uphold the Constitution.
Yep.
And period. That's.
Mhm. I'm
So-
just ready for it to be over so that we're not divided anymore. Because I do feel like we're way too divided. Like
I don't
I'm
see- I
worried
don't-
about Thanksgiving. Because how am I going to invite these family members over that are,
You
like,
don't.
Don't.
You don't even
We'll
worry.
come.
Don't-
but how? But,
You,
right?
your kids, and your
a
husband.
black family of 5, and we will eat all the Puerto Rican
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
You got- We'll bring
no,
some
You,
macaroni.
your kids, and your husband.
But
You don't need like
right, but like, what if it's family?
no.
Yeah. Because my husband is Caucasian. So what if it's like his family?
They don't have
Right.
to come over.
Yeah, but like, you see how that could hurt our family? But like, the crazy part is sometimes the family would rather stand for Trump than bond with the family. So
Right,
it's like you're
so-
letting a stranger that you've never even met, you never voted for him in the first place,
And see,
come between
That's
us.
what I'm saying. Like, y'all can't come over and shut up talking about this guy
Right.
for
For
5
4
hours.
hours.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or two,
like,
just
like,
two.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, trust me. The only time Obama comes up in my life is when somebody brings him up or he comes on TV. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we don't just sit around and just like, man, I sure miss that Obama.
Okay.
Like, man,
Where's Michelle's school
man,
menu?
I'll tell you, that George Bush sure was a good president, man.
Right.
Like it just doesn't come up.
Right.
There's so many other things to talk about. Why do we have to keep talking about this? Like, aren't I feel like before he became president, didn't we have more happening in our lives? Like, don't we have more going on that we should be able to feel
But
like
that's the
5 hours
problem
without politics?
Is that those people don't have anything else going on in their
Right,
lives.
they don't. They sit around and
Man.
watch Fox
That's
News.
all they
I'm
have
telling
to
you,
like-
my husband the other day, he got a text from this family member talking about, see you after the election. It's like 10 p.m. and we're talking about our daughter. Like, we're talking about your grandkid and you're talking about see you after the election. Like, sir, it's a Tuesday. Like, calm down. Like, it's not. But like,
After the
he
election.
watches Fox News and gets all wound up. So then when we see him, it's like all he wants to do is like spill all these Fox News talking points.
You
And it
liberals
sucks.
are going to run America into the ground.
Right, but like we just want to hang out and have a beer and watch football.
Right.
Like just chill.
right. Can
What's
we
your
do that?
tradition? Would
Oh,
you do a
goodness.
traditional Thanksgiving dinner?
We do Puerto Rican and American. So like my in-laws cook like the turkey and the stuffing, and I'll do the pernil and the arroz con gandules and stuff like that. So we do like half and half. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what she said.
The
But it sounded
pernil
like-
is like the roasted pork. We do like a roasted
Okay.
pork, and then we do like a rice and pigeon peas. That's like gandules,
Okay,
the rice
okay,
and
okay,
pigeon,
okay.
pigeon peas.
Pigeon peas,
Yeah, gandules or pigeon
Like
peas.
real pigeon?
Yeah. Like pigeon peas, like y'all pigeon peas. We are pigeon peas too.
No, like pigeon. Like the
No.
bird?
No,
Oh, pigeon peas.
the beans.
Oh. I just heard pigeon and was like, pigeon? Y'all eat
No.
pigeon? Like,
No, the beans.
who catches these pigeons? Like,
no,
is this-
no. We don't eat
These
pigeons.
the same people that put little hats on them on the strip.
These farm-raised
They're the
pigeons?
MAGA hats, those pigeons on the strip.
Chickens with magic hats.
Whoever's
Oh
doing
my
that is
God.
going to hell.
God bless them. Torturing those
Sorry.
birds.
So it's not really a good week to be somebody who spoke up for Trump at the convention.
Oh, this lady.
First, your couple, the McCloskeys,
Mhm.
out of they were indicted for brandishing weapons and standing in their yard with guns while
Yeah.
people were protesting in Missouri. And now this lady, her name is Amy Thorne, but apparently she also goes by the name of Amy Ford.
Wonder why.
She's going to prison. That's where they're going to call her something else in prison. But
'Cause you're busting caps.
yes. So apparently her and this lady, and they get into a verbal altercation. So Miss Ford, or Thorne, or whoever the hell she is this week, decides to go to her vehicle, get a gun, and come back and shoot this woman.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Anybody who's ever watched this show knows that we have discussed these shootings a billion times. You cannot retreat to get a gun and come back. It's just legally you're never going to win that.
Because that's like premeditated.
Yep.
At that point.
Because if you could get away to get to a gun, then you should have just kept going and left.
Got it.
You made a conscious decision
to go back.
Turn around.
When you went to your car, you were on the defensive. So if she followed you to your car, that's one thing. But when you go to your car and then you come back, now you're on the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're starting to see this though from Trump supporters. It's happening all over the country where during riots and stuff they were shooting people and they thought they were going to get away with it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now the shoes then dropped and they're like, no. Well, she was a black lady and she was yelling at me.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you a right to shoot somebody.
Exactly.
You left. Kyle Rittenhouse is having issues right now because he's fighting extradition to the state of Wisconsin.
Yep.
This kid is going to be stupid, though. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you this because we already know he's stupid. His mom is dumb. If you saw her interview on ABC this week, she's stupid. I'm sorry, Fox. It was on Fox. She's really stupid, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is 20 minutes from the Wisconsin border. He's going to go across the border on his own and get snatched up by somebody. Like, they're just because he's too dumb and too arrogant right now to think that he did anything wrong.
See, this is the issue with the privilege that we always talk about, right?
Right.
So they've had this privilege their entire lives. And every time the police and everyone else have been on their side, they show up, they act a fool, and then somebody opposes them acting a fool, and then they cross the line. The police show up and take their word for it.
Mm-hmm.
So they get away with it time after time after time after time. Why else do you cross a border with your 17-year-old son to a place that's so dangerous in your mind that he's going to need a rifle, and then you leave him there with said rifle and a medic kit? Okay? Think about that. This place is so dangerous that you might need an AR. That's what they believe, right? So you're going to give your kid an AR and leave?
Like she dropping him off at the mall.
Yeah.
Hey, go
Be
hang
safe,
out
son.
with your friends.
Be safe.
Make
Call
good
me.
choices.
Call me when you need me. You know?
See, I feel like I was so underprivileged
You see-
because for me it was like a big deal to get $5 being dropped off at the arcade. when I was
Okay.
Right? You see?
I mean,
he's dropped off with his AR, son, across the border.
Yeah.
Right? But now, like you said, it's catching up because now it's like, nah, bro, you killed 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
2 people are dead because of what you did. And now here's the messed up part. They could get a lawyer, and I've even heard lawyers break down this case so many times on how they could basically get away with everything except him being underage, having a gun, which will probably get reduced to like some misdemeanor, whatever charge, and he'll go on and live his life like none of this ever happened. But they are so arrogant. They are so, it's my right, Second Amendment, yada, yada, yada. And they have too much pride to just shut the hell up, hire a lawyer, and let them do it. They want to do interviews and let the whole world know,
Right.
look at us.
And people act like this stuff won't be used in court.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You made these public interviews.
Right.
Any good prosecutor with their assault will record these interviews,
Mhm.
bring them to court,
Right.
and you can't get them thrown out because you said this.
Do they sound remorseful?
Yeah.
Right.
Do they sound like they wish
Right.
that they didn't kill somebody?
That's when you get like
know?
arrested on your day off.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
this
Stealing boxes.
Amy Thorne / Amy Ford woman, she shot a woman by the name of John DeWitt in the abdomen during an argument. But she told the Williamson Police Chief Grady Dotson, said Thorne claimed she had become fearful for her safety and told Witt she had a gun. She went to the car, got the gun out of the car, and then went back. That's where you run into the problem.
And my beef with this is that she's not being charged with attempted murder right now.
See,
And they can do it later. I get it, but she shot her in the body. Like she didn't kneecap her. She shot her in the stomach.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That should be attempted murder. Like,
I feel like sometimes you get the initial charge out there
yeah.
because because she's being charged with malicious wounding.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's probably a very broad
yeah.
category, right?
What is that?
Like you could probably maliciously wound somebody with a paper clip.
What state was
Yeah.
this in?
This was in.
I don't know. Sound like something you do
Because
to
it'll
an
make
animal.
a lot more sense. I feel like with somewhere in Midwest,
No,
South.
I feel like it was. Hold on a second.
because it's funny because when things like
West
this
Virginia.
West Virginia, yeah, when things like this happen, the NRA jumps real quick to defend the person with the gun. But like even in the Breonna Taylor case, where was the NRA? When in the Philippe Castile case, where was the NRA?
Yeah.
Well,
They don't show up for black folks.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Any minorities would.
Right.
That's not like the thing.
I've yet to see them show up when a black person shoots somebody in self-defense or
Right.
otherwise.
Absolutely.
Just so much stuff. Like,
What else?
Yeah. Apparently, white folks busting their guns left and
Busting
right.
cats.
whatever happened to like solidarity amongst like
Thieves? What do you mean?
no
What do you mean? Like
politicians?
people are as thick
right?
as thieves?
No politicians. Like it was very rare that sheriffs came out and spoke out against governors.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was very rare that because you still need that governor to approve things that you're going to need in your budgets and stuff later on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's always been this, well, I don't agree with you kind of, but I'm going to, we'll discuss this behind scenes,
Well,
right?
Go along to get along, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's this guy, he's a sheriff in Michigan. His name is, Dar Lee. I can't even pronounce his name here. It doesn't matter. Dar Leaf. Dar Leaf. And for those of you who've been in a boxer last week, it was 10. I think they're up to 13 guys now that are being arrested for trying to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Right.
For conspiracy to kidnap.
They've labeled them a militia instead of terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy is the sheriff of Barr County in Michigan. His name is Dar Leaf.
Yeah.
He's actually defending their actions here. And what like
Wait, the arrested people? The
Yes,
militia?
he's defending their actions, saying that they weren't trying to kidnap her. They were trying to citizens arrest her.
Come
Oh
on.
my gosh.
That's
Bruh.
a government official. Like
Yes.
even
Bruh.
if they're whatever that's wrong, that's illegal, you can't be citizens arresting the governor.
If you have a problem with the governor, you go to the FBI, right? That's like
Right.
So
that's-
this is where I could give a damn if you racist. You understand? Like that's what this country was built on. We can argue about that a whole nother day, right? So Trump and his people being racist, I could care less about. It is what it is, right? Name a president that wasn't racist. Like pick one. You know what I mean? Like you'll find how many we have. 45?
Mhm.
44 of them are racist. You understand?
Right.
Like I'm not. We're not going to argue that point, right? But when your president hates a governor and they go back and forth, and now these diehard psycho supporters of the president now feel empowered to kidnap someone.
Mhm.
not just someone, the governor. Of
You
the
understand?
state.
What they gonna do? Show up
You
with her at the
understand?
White House? Like,
So
look who we
now-
got in the trunk.
So now you have these gangs who feel they have the support of the president
Mhm.
and obviously the support of the sheriff, because what a lot of people don't know, if it all hits the fan, right, and the world kind of shuts down, the sheriff has more power than like the mayor and the governor. The sheriff becomes the leader of this area. You understand? Like, so if zombies came, right, and there's no structure, the mayor and the governor no longer have power. The sheriff does, right? So you have the sheriff, who's probably the most powerful person in this county or city or town or wherever, supporting people who are trying to kidnap someone.
Right.
No, they're trying to arrest. Because a lot of people wanted her arrested.
Where they gonna take her?
But what's she
the cri-
arrested for?
Arrest her for
crime?
what?
That's what I want to know.
For
Like,
the lockdown?
and see, and this goes to kind of, we talked about this in the Ahmaud Arbery thing. Like they were trying to make a citizen's arrest on Ahmaud Arbery, but it says,
Bro.
and even according to the sheriff, that like it has to be a felony. Like for them to make this arrest, she would have had to commit a felony.
And-
They would have took this woman and she would be dead if someone didn't stop this plot.
Right.
Because nobody's they're not kidnapping her and going to put out a ransom.
Right.
Oh, we'll
Right.
give the governor up for $12 million. No, they ain't asking for money.
And where were you going to take her to? Like,
Right.
like you're
Exactly.
you're
What
to-
jail? What
right,
jail?
What jail are you taking her to?
Because if you taking her to the sheriff, you could have just went and got the sheriff, and then if she really committed a crime, let the sheriff do his job.
Why?
You understand?
But why can't I, as an American citizen, impose my views on everybody else?
Bruh.
Well, we in America, I thought.
These are the same people. When we protest, they're like, if you don't like this country, leave.
Right.
And
Go somewhere else.
Sir, y'all took us.
When clearly they're the ones who don't like the way this country is run. Right. And see, this is what drives me nuts. Almost every commercial I've seen has either been, oh, Trump's done so much for black and brown people, or under Joe Biden's America, it's going to be total anarchy and psychos running around doing all this stuff. Here's the damn psychos right here.
right.
In Trump's America.
They're out now.
Do you understand?
Everywhere.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they're freaking everywhere, bro.
How can anybody consider themselves any type of rational or sane and believe the bullshit?
Right.
It's
really crazy. So I live in a community where, people, there's like a HOA and there's laws on flags and whatnot. So we have these new neighbors. They just moved in like 2 weeks ago. Tell me why they've got like all these big pickup trucks with huge MAGA flags like on the back of their truck. They're violating the HOA. All the neighbors are upset on the Nextdoor app. Like, it's some real suburban nonsense. But it's like you move into a neighborhood that is so diverse, because we have a great diverse community. And then you put these flags up. It's so rude. Like, you're new to the neighborhood. You haven't even went around and met the neighbors, but yet you're like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like they're always looking to like start some shit. You know what I mean?
I agree with
like,
that.
They're always instigating.
They're
like,
the bully.
why couldn't they just
They
chill
want to
and
be the
like
bully.
have your little sign, but you don't need 4 flags in the driveway.
Yeah. And then the minute you walk by, it's like, you don't even say anything. You're just walking by, and they're like, you got a problem with my flag?
Right. And you're like, nah.
I give a damn about your dumbass flag.
Nah.
No. Nobody really cares.
Nobody really cares.
Right.
You're just letting me know that I probably don't want to talk to you.
But they're so problematic. Why do they got to instigate it? Like, I don't walk around puffing my chest with Biden.
That's what I'm saying. You see, like I've never seen Bush supporters be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was like, George Bush, son, what are you gonna do? Huh? GW. Like, I've never seen anybody. Obama, like, yeah, we were happy we had a black president. I never saw anybody try to fight somebody because they didn't support Obama. I ain't saying it never happened, but it definitely wasn't like this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't 45 times a day all across the country.
Right.
The biggest scandal for Obama was like the beige suit. Like, at this time in Obama's presidency, was the beige suit.
Yeah. What's this dude doing wearing tan suits?
Like, come on.
Man. Goodness, dude.
But you got to understand, I think Trump lives in such a bubble, and he has been since he was born, right? Like, he was born into a millionaire family. He's been a millionaire his whole life. He really is completely out of touch with like regular people.
He is completely out of touch with reality.
All the
you
more
understand?
reason
Totally.
Regular people
shouldn't support him.
Right.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say yesterday at a casino in I-100, he's like, I can't be he said, I'm not rich enough to be a Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm not getting any of these tax breaks.
Right.
He's like, he doesn't have anything necessarily against him in general, but he's like, I don't make enough money to support this guy. Like,
right.
Because he doesn't do anything for me. And then he's upset because other people who are in the same position that he's in, are trying to explain to him how Trump wrote all these tax cuts and stuff like that. And he's like, again, how does that affect us?
Right.
Like, where did we get those tax breaks?
Yeah.
They got them for the first 6 months, and then the following year, all hell broke loose, and people realized that they couldn't get those tax cuts. You couldn't deduct the things you used to deduct from your taxes and stuff like that. Yeah. Teachers took it up the ass.
Right.
And
it's a lot going on. But I can't remember which one of them said it was some woman was like, I'm gonna save $40 a year and I could renew my Costco membership with it.
Come on.
And
man.
I was like, that's what the world's coming to? Costco memberships?
We got kids in cages, right? We have all these crazy people that want to kidnap government officials. We have racism. We have the bullying online. It's insane.
And here's my thing, like, because you brought up the kids in cages. So I get that, like, you know, I may not agree with everything, but I try to stand back and watch and see what happens, right? So the whole kids in cages, right? And they thinking, you know, these immigrants are coming and, oh my God, they're going to kill us all and steal our jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you stop them at the border. You make these cages. You put people in it some kind of way. You separate the parents and you get the kids, right? And in all of that, you're trying to do the right thing. And for a second, I can see, like, okay, they're trying to stop terrorists or whatever. Again, I may not agree with it, but I'm trying to watch and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, when you still have kids in cages, somebody has to step in and say, hey, we effed up. We got kids here with no parents, and these kids are in cages, and we don't have room for them. We have to fix this problem. And what pisses me off is nobody's doing that.
No,
But
They're
all
just
lives matter,
arguing
though.
and justifying and this and that. And at some point, as a nation, and I don't care what side you're on, even as people, you have to step back and look at your decisions and the things that we've done and put in place and say, you know what? At the time, I thought this was the right thing to do, but it wasn't.
right.
You know what I mean? Because these are lives we're talking
Right.
about, and I don't care where they're from.
Right.
Look, nations are just wherever we decided to draw a line in the sand.
Right.
At one
Exactly.
point, California was Mexico,
Exactly.
and now it's California. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? I mean,
But that line now makes people feel entitled to
Exactly,
say all
right?
these
So-
terrible things about Mexicans and say all these awful things about immigrants because of an imaginary line when we're all people. We're all
and
like one
these are human
race.
children
Yeah.
in these cages, and somebody has to just look at that and go, hey, we messed up somewhere. It ain't about pointing the finger. It ain't about, oh, Trump did it, this person did it, Obama built the cages. I don't care how they got there, but now they shouldn't be there. We have to fix that problem.
Well, some kids have
And
gotten
that's-
lost in the system
And
because
see, and right. So this is
How do kids get lost in the system?
they take the parents, they separate them, they send the parent back to their home country, so let's say they're Mexico, El
Right.
Salvador, wherever. So the parent goes back. They have no idea where the kid is. They don't know how DCF works. They don't know what state
Right.
the baby might have. So the kid gets shuffled through foster care, might even end up being adopted by a foster family, and that parent is in their home country trying to figure out how to make a phone call and figure out where the child is. And they were trying to get DNA tests from the parents and the kids to try to match them
you
up
guys
because they
remember
lost so
how
many
big
kids.
of a deal the Elian Gonzalez case
Yes,
was?
I lived
Yeah.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
that was insane. Insane. Like everybody was watching their TV that night when that whole raid was happening.
For
Thank
3
God he
weeks,
wasn't Haitian.
everybody watched TV, like
Yeah.
waiting to see how the
Because it was like a raid and
right.
Stanville.
And now
yeah.
all of it, and it's funny because it's not funny. It's actually shows our hypocrisy is that at the time, probably 95% of Americans were like, he needs to stay here.
Yes. Nobody
Yeah.
wanted
He
him
had
to
to
go
go
home.
home.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a
He-
great point.
He needs to stay here.
Yes.
He's in
Mhm.
America now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
his mama
He
wanted
caught-
him
yeah,
here.
he
He
touched
made
the
it.
dirt.
He made it.
He
Right,
touched the
right.
ground
Yeah.
because it was that ground.
The
you know what I'm
had to
saying?
get you had to touch the
Yes,
plant.
you
Yeah,
touched
you
the
had to touch
land.
soil.
Yes,
You
Yeah.
touched
so
the
he
soil,
yeah.
Well, there's a specific root law
Yeah.
to what it says, but like you have to make once you make it to American soil.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So maybe 5% of people wanted him to go back.
People were crying and having like
Oh,
there was
yeah.
protests every
Everywhere,
day
yes.
about
Right.
alien
all
like being taken
over
and all
Miami
that. Yeah.
and other
Mhm.
parts of the country
Mhm.
because this Cuban boy shouldn't have to go back to Cuba because Cuba's a
Mhm.
bad country and
Right.
it's poor and we can take better care of them in America.
It's a communist country,
yeah.
a socialist country, and all that.
and
yeah.
now
Look how far we've come.
Right.
Oh my gosh, man.
it's such hypocrisy
You see how fast, like,
because that was 20 years ago, right?
you see
I
how
feel like it was
fast
20
we
years ago.
went
Like,
from
just-
we're America, we'll take care of it,
right,
to nah, keep them problems over there.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how
Yeah.
We
fast
don't want those kids in here anymore.
That
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago.
Like, you know
I
what I'm
remember
saying?
like watching it on TV for days, waiting for. And remember the big thing was that they went in there with guns,
Mhm.
and they had he was in the closet,
Mhm.
and they had the pictures
Yes.
from like USA Today of the I don't know if they sent a SEAL team,
the
or whatever,
military looking guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's got the gun in his hand, but he doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
his finger on the trigger, and then people like wholly criticizing him because he shouldn't have went in there like that with the guns
Mm-hmm.
and and they're like, hey, these guys are trained experts. They don't make
Man.
accidental shots. Like
Mhm.
back then, we
We
cared
went
for this
from-
one little Cuban kid.
We went from save Ilion to F them kids.
Well, also nobody got shot.
Nobody got shot.
But now
Wow.
today, everybody
Oh,
would have got
yeah.
blasted.
Yeah.
Ilion would have got shot. Wouldn't be nothing to talk about. We got
That's
a
not
dead
funny.
Cuban boy here.
No, it was such a big deal though that like
Yeah, no, it was.
people
Wow.
tried like is what eventually happened was, for those of you who are too young to remember this, was basically the courts decided that the United States had no right to detain him here because
His
his
father.
father was in Cuba still. His mother
Mhm.
had passed away like when they were coming over. So like
Yeah.
there was no legal ground for them to keep him in the United States. They
Right.
had to send him back.
Because he was
Yeah.
with like a distant
Cousin
cousin
or
or
something.
aunt or
Right,
something, and
right.
they thought that the paternal
And
right was
was
more
more-
like superseded
Yeah,
that.
So where are these paternal rights now?
Well,
Where are the rights of anything now,
Let's-
man?
Speaking of paternal rights, I have 5 kids. Never once in my entire life has this ever even close to remotely happened. Have I
Hmm.
ever left my kid in a car?
Mm.
And my kids are adults now. So when my kids were young, we didn't have pay at the gas pump. I know some of you think that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Right.
You had to go in.
My
and pay
oldest
for
son is
gas.
21, so back when they were kids, like we actually had to go into the store and
Yeah.
pay for gas.
Yeah.
And it was driving me crazy because I got kids in car seats, and I got to take them all in the car seat to go in the store, pay for gas for 30 seconds, come back out, put them in the car seats.
Yeah.
I would not leave my kids in the car long enough to go into the gas station just to pay for gas.
Right.
How people are leaving their kids in cars. It's 110 degrees or 105 degrees outside here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the kids are dying in the car because this story is a whole lot of messed up. This guy's name is Sidney Deal. He's 27 years old. He was released after he posted a $20,000 bond. So he goes out to the car. He's got the baby in the car. He forgets something. He leaves the baby in the car, comes back out, but he's locked out of the car now. The car is running. He believes the air condition is going and that the kid is going to be okay. He will not allow the family members or the original police officer who showed up on the scene to break out the window because he says it's too expensive to replace and he doesn't have the money to replace the window. You shouldn't be a father. That's just to begin. Like, there's nothing in my life where I've ever been to the point where, like, man, that's too expensive. That's my kid's life isn't worth that $300 window. Like, this is too much money for me to have to come out for my kids. But there's so much.
My question is, if the police was there, because I read about this article, and they said the police were there, and the police supposedly saw the baby breathing in the car, and the police confirmed that the AC was on. So if the police were on the scene for an hour, 2 hours, and they did not intervene, who's negligent? Like, shouldn't the police be like, nah, son, like, you're done. Like, screw you and your car. I'm going to bust the window and save the baby as a police officer.
Because so this is my thing then. How did the baby die?
Well, that's
you
the
understand what I'm saying?
question.
So far, none of this makes sense. It would seem to me the police showed up too late. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't understand.
I've seen probably 3 TV news stories on this, and I've read 2 or 3 other ones. They all of them said that the police officer was there, and then apparently, like, the father and the police officer kind of got into
like an argument?
Because the police officer wanted to bust out the window, and he would, like, not let him. And there was also another relative there who wanted to bust out the window, and the guy was fighting and arguing with them. I feel like if the cop was really there, if the cop wanted to bust out the window, he could have busted out the window.
Well, he could have called for backup to take the dad but he didn't, and supposedly he was on the scene for over an hour.
Right, there's so much.
So
the system failed.
So yeah, what I'm reading here is apparently he flagged down the officers for help.
Right.
Officers arrived. They offered to break the window or call a locksmith.
So he didn't call 911?
He declined. Apparently he saw police nearby. He flagged them down. That's what that's saying, right?
It's weird.
So he said, no, locksmith costs too much. Don't break the window. I'm going to call my brother instead. I don't know if his brother is car thief or got a key or not. Who knows, right? So he said, and this is according to the arrest report, he had just bought the car and didn't have the money to fix a broken window. So police said he also declined to have a tow truck come to the scene. So the police were there, right? And he declined to have a tow truck because it cost too much, basically. He didn't agree with the cost. After several minutes, the officer smashed the window anyway and pulled out the unresponsive toddler. Police said the little girl died before paramedics arrived on the scene. Okay? Outdoor temperature was mid-90s, which to us in Vegas ain't that hot. But that's hot everywhere else in the world. 90 degrees is hot no matter where you're at.
But 90 outdoors is probably 120, 115 inside.
Right.
If the air is
not on, right?
Wouldn't they be able to tell if the air was on or off from outside the car?
Like, you can hear an air condition kick in.
Now here's another thing. It's unknown exactly how long this child was in the car, but neighbor, I won't say her name, told the Review Journal it took about 2 hours before the window was broken. She said police had asked for a clothes hanger to use and try to unlock the car door. So, I don't know if this cop was out there for a whole 2 hours, but this child was in the car for 2 hours. Here's the thing. I ain't never left my kids in the car for 2 minutes.
Right.
Hot, cold, AC or not.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And my oldest is 10. To me, that's old enough to still get snatched up by a grown man.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, cause one of these pedophiles, in my opinion, will smash my window and grab my kids.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm not leaving my children unattended for any reason.
Right.
So the only way my kids are gonna get locked in the car is if I get out, close the door, and go to open the back door and realize, oh, I just locked my kids in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Which instantly I'm trying to get them out.
Right.
Which my kids are old enough now to unlock the door. You know what I mean? But my baby's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's less than 2. So, hey, I'm about to bust this window. Sorry. You know what I mean?
But if you're not sure that the AC is on, you bust the window. And I think like the police officers should have the authority to do all the other stuff. He couldn't like be like, no, I'm taking charge. We're busting the window. And
he busted the window anyway. Just
Right.
too late.
right.
You know what I mean?
There's more to the
So-
story.
There
I don't
has to
think
be-
that
there's
this
something-
is the only part of the story.
And the other thing is, it says that her cause and manner of death were still pending.
Right. So they don't even know that she passed from what would it have been?
Heat
Like,
asphyxiation.
yeah, like
heat
heat-
asphyxiation,
yeah.
heat stroke,
Nope.
something along those lines.
They don't even
but-
know what it was.
I
So,
just don't there's some, this seems so fishy to me. As a parent, I can't even think of a number to be like, oh yeah, well at that point my kid's life isn't worth it. We'll just, like,
no.
I can't bust out this one.
I mean,
Like,
I
you
do
just
think
bought the car, you don't have
That's-
insurance.
See, that's the part that bothers me. Is not like, of all the fishy stuff, why is he trying to stop them from breaking the window?
because something's not right.
You understand what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like,
Something's not right.
Bro, I get it. We've all been broke before.
Yeah.
You
But
understand?
that's
Like,
your baby.
tough break, bro. You're going to have to ride around with the duct tape and trash bag on the
Right.
window, man.
Right.
Like,
Right.
this is a kid. This is again, a human life we are talking about.
Right. I mean,
How?
I will say, as a mother, I'd forgot my child in the car one time for like 1 minute, not very long. I was bringing home groceries. She was a newborn. I was bringing home groceries. I have 3 kids, and I was with the 3 of them. And the 2 older ones came inside with me, and I brought the grocery bags inside, and I started unpacking them. And one of them goes, "Where's the baby?" And I was like, "Crap, the baby!" But like, we weren't done unloading the car. But like, that was the one moment that I was like,
Bro,
"Oh my god!" Like,
You're allowed to have mental lapses as
Yeah.
parents. Kids
Yeah.
will drive you nuts. You understand? Like, you know how many times?
Yeah.
You know how many times I'm in the store and I'm looking around like, where's the other one?
Yeah.
Where is the other one? Like, you know what I mean?
Count the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, where's and I only have 3. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not like I got 5 or 6 and it's like a whole tribe of them or something.
Yeah.
It's 3,
Yeah.
and I lose one all the time.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yep.
Half the time it's because one of them goes hiding.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
She's like, oh, you can't find me, whatever. But it happens. We're allowed to have a mental lapse.
Yeah.
But when you had that mental lapse and you realize, oh, I forgot the baby in the car, it wasn't, I should be all right. I'll go get her in a minute.
No,
Because
like,
then that
I
makes you like,
ran.
what's wrong with you?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I ran out. Like,
you know what I mean?
where's the
Like, and it
baby?
probably was like 45 seconds. It
It
wasn't
literally,
even.
yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
even a minute. Like
You
the
know what
door
I'm saying?
wasn't even closed.
Right.
Yeah,
And you had the thought of, I got to go get my baby.
Yeah.
This man, I got to go get my baby was, oh, wait, can't break that window though.
No.
Wait, slow down, y'all.
Something ain't right
It's going to
because
cost too much, you know?
If she did, there are signs when somebody
gosh.
dies of heat exhaustion. There's certain
Right.
things like whether they like, I don't know if they foam or like there's certain things that
Yeah.
they can tell right away.
That-
And
Yeah.
if they have not confirmed that that's how she passed, then she might have already
'Cause this
been
happened-
abused or
Yeah,
something, and then
yeah.
This happened on the 9th, and it's already today's the 11th or the 12th.
yeah. Well,
12,
if it's being
yeah.
investigated, they can't like reveal that.
Yeah. There's definitely, I think that there's definitely something going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was something on the news talking about the story where they have had calls to their home for domestic issues involving the child. However, when Division of Family and Child Services, whatever they're called, when they show up, if there's no immediate need to remove the child from the family, then they believe it's always in the best interest to keep the family together.
Right.
So for whatever reason, they were called out at least 3 times from what I heard on the news. They were inclined to say, okay, everything's all good here, and left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so, I feel like there's a lot
There's
that
more.
we don't know.
Yeah.
To me,
There's more.
the greatest thing in the world is watching my kids laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, especially like when they're all together in a room and they're like cracking jokes on each other and talking trash, like and just
Mhm.
watching them laugh and have a good time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing in the world is, as a parent, is watching my kids cry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta believe at some point in this 2 hours, that baby's in the car crying.
Because she's hot.
This is a 1-year-old we talking about.
1
Yeah, but
year,
wouldn't she
1
cry
year and
when
9
she's hot?
months. 1 year and 9 months. So
a baby would cry at that age.
My
Yeah.
kid will, my 1-year-old will cry like just for the sake of crying. Like
Right.
sometimes kids, like, I've been sitting here too long. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Like,
I'm,
was she
I'm
sleeping
tired.
the whole
I'm
time?
hungry.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I pooped on myself. Like babies cry, 1-year-olds cry for 1,000 reasons.
Right.
I don't, like, again, there's something going on. If we were placing bets, I'm thinking something had already happened with this child.
Yep.
And I feel,
And he was buying time by leaving it in the car and acting like.
and we're talking about
You know
a
what I
year,
mean?
year and
Yeah.
9 months. So we're talking 20 months.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about something that's probably starting to talk too.
My
right?
best friend has a 20-month-old, and I can't get a word in when I'm on the phone with her because he's like, "Mom." He
Right.
only says like 3 words, but
Yeah.
like the whole time he's talking, and I'm
My
like, oh.
daughter is about that age,
Yeah.
about 20 months. She'll be 2 in December.
Yeah, but
You
your
know what I
daughter
mean?
runs your house already. She,
Of course,
she grown.
like,
She
I
just be
mean,
walking out
right.
like
She
just-
talks, she uses words, she's up, she's moving, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way we're gonna be standing outside for 20 minutes, let alone 2 hours,
Right.
and I not get in the car or something, and she's not making noise like, hey, what's going
Right.
on? You know what I'm saying? She's not.
She
crying
doesn't
or
want to be
something.
in that car seat.
Or
any
waking
longer.
up hot. A baby
Right.
that age would wake up and be hot and looking around like, why am I sweaty? You know?
Yeah,
There's so much-
something's not
It's
right.
sad.
I
It
don't.
is sad.
Yeah. There was a Facebook post that was this guy's alleged brother that was basically saying, you know, he was a single dad, he loved his daughter, and
Yeah, his mama
and
was on
all
TV
the,
crying
yeah,
too.
and all
other
the
day.
information was not being told, and I don't believe anything they're saying, because at the end of the day, there's no way that window's not getting broke.
Right.
There's no way.
So, are we still social distancing because of COVID?
Yes.
Are
Sort
we?
of.
Kind of, sort of.
Kinda.
Not really.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, because your girl, Cardi B, was here this
Yeah.
weekend
Mhm.
with Offset and
Mhm.
Kylie Jenner and
Meg
The
Thee
Weeknd,
Stallion.
Meg Thee Stallion, 21 Savage, Floyd
Mhm.
Mayweather, Meek
Yeah.
Mill. Apparently, The Weeknd and Tiana Taylor, they had their own table, but it's funny because they were at Area 15, which is this new thing here in town that
It's like the art.
nobody knows what the hell it is.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
an
Who
immersive
knows? I
art
don't know.
slash bar slash
Yeah, see,
studio
nobody knows what-
slash
yeah, it's-
art exhibit. It's just
I
a
thought
cool
it-
place.
I thought it was a dispensary. Like,
No,
No,
that's
for the
Planet.
longest.
That's Planet
Planet
15 or
13,
whatever. 13.
Planet
Yeah,
13,
13.
okay.
This is
Area 15 is like,
yeah.
and they just finally opened, but it's supposed to have been opening for like the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And every time somebody in Vegas was like, "What is it?" You Google it, and it doesn't help you.
Yeah, that's
Find
why I
out
thought it
what
was a dispensary, because
yeah.
I was like, there's no information here. I
Yeah.
don't
But
know.
Cardi, apparently they rented the place out this weekend. They had them a blowout party here in Vegas, getting drunk. They had it as a Desert Oasis theme, which is kind of lame if you come to Vegas. I feel like.
Well, it's kind of, it's like,
I guess because we live here and it's
Yeah.
always a Desert Oasis.
yeah, she's from the Bronx. This is a
Right.
big deal.
I just, but you
She's
don't
from the
have to,
BX. Come on, Dallas.
but you don't have to have a theme in Vegas to be a Desert Oasis.
It is
we
a
are a Desert Oasis.
Well, they have like hookahs and camels and like.
You could have just
stuff
went
like
out to
that.
Red Rock and just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got some burros.
Hey, have you ever been out to Red Rock? You see
Yeah,
the
I
wild
see the
burros out
burros, yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Wow.
take you a pack and throw it on them
But
and walk around the
It
desert.
looked like a really fun party because I know I have a friend that was there and I saw a lot of the videos on Snap or whatever, and I was like, "Damn, this is popping!" But like, it looks like Miss Rona gonna get everybody because nobody had a
no,
mask
that's
on.
nothing.
But here's the thing: Cardi and Offset are rich, or Cardi, I should say, because Offset showed up at the end. Cardi's rich, so how do we know she wasn't testing? Like, she's rich enough to afford instant tests for all of her guests,
I feel like
so we don't know if she did that or not.
if that was the case, they should be out. They should be saying it though. Like
What?
we
Like
were
they
te-
rapid tested everybody, but
Yeah.
why a celeb got to tell you their business about their birthday party?
So here's the thing.
because she's gonna get blowback from it being.
And she's finna tell everybody about the birthday party. That's
Right.
why.
Wow.
So here's like, beyond that little laser that's gonna give you my temperature on my forehead. If I'm going to a party, I ain't getting Rona tested. Because if I got to get Rona tested, I ain't going.
right.
I mean, that's like here's the thing.
but it's
I-
Cardi B.
So I
Cardi,
get it.
it's different.
First of all,
right?
I'm not going to Cardi's birthday party to begin with. I'm just.
Oh,
just
I
me.
definitely want to go.
So something, and this is something one of my teachers said in high school. He was like, one of the kids got jumped after a basketball game or something, and then we had a whole assembly about it. And the kid goes, hey, why don't we have security at our basketball games, XYZ, for whatever reason? And one of the principals says, look, if we need that kind of security, then we don't need to have basketball games. And I feel the same way about the Rona. If it's that many of y'all coming and y'all gonna have to do all these tests, then y'all probably don't need to have whatever that event is. If
Right.
everybody, you know what I'm saying? If
That's
I get
how I
off,
feel about people who get on planes or come to casinos with their full hazmat gear on.
yeah.
If you need to
If
do
you
all
gotta
that,
do all
you should
that,
probably just stay
why
home.
go? Why are you
Right.
risking life and
If
limb
you want to
for
be the
this?
mask
Yeah.
police, stay home.
Yeah.
All right,
So
guys, this
goofy.
has been Negro Please. I'm Dallas Scott, Hollywood Huff, Natalia Hernandez, Quan, the producer. We will be back next Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, The Negro Plays, The Negro Please, and check out all of our social media at The Negro Please. Thanks. See you guys next week.
Go Lakers.
Peace.